all children need is the devil in amber.
I'm not sure about that. Oh, no, they do.
All children of all ages.
All children, yeah.
All children of all ages, by Mark Gatiss, who's our listed Londoner today. Mark, how old were you when you first arrived in London? I mean, to kind of, move here.
Oh, I was about 25.
And was that always going to have happened? Or
no, I resisted it for years because I used to have this conviction that it was one of those places that would just eat you up.
Is it true?
I used to love visiting, but I was always slightly glad to get away. But somehow or other, it just kind of became an Rolf's Cartoon Club, and I was doing 2 plays here, and eventually I was just here so often it just became inevitable.
So, what's become your favourite neighbourhood since then?
It's the one I pitched up in, which is still Islington, which is where I am now. And I used to live with Steve from the league in Liverpool Road, and then I moved to Gillespie Road opposite Arsenal Stadium, and I've kind of been around a bit. I obviously can't go south of the river, but I still love it there. It's just, and I think it is, you sort of put down roots and you kind of become very fond of the first place you hit.
When you moved in Islington, where was it on that kind of phase of gentrification?
I can actually remember reading in Time Out, Islington's trendy upper street, and thinking, ooh. And I always think of that wonderful line in Prick of Your Ears when Kenneth Halliwell says, Islington's coming up. But it was well on the way by then. It wasn't what it was in the 60s.
No, because I mean, bits of it will never change. You know, it's still got something like the highest percentage of council properties in any London borough.
Yeah, loads of those beautiful houses.
Yeah.
It's still apparently the 4th worst place to live in the world.
Which is good. It's funny. I had a mate come around my house today who lives in Hackney, and he said, we've just been voted the worst place in Britain. He says, we're really proud of this.
There's always, lots of shades of violence.
But that's part of it, though, isn't it? It's why you don't want to live in barns.
Yeah, quite. I think so. I mean, I feel like when John Lennon said he felt safe on the streets of New York and got shot the next day. So I'll be careful what I say. But, there's that undercurrent. It's London, isn't it? It's different.
What about a favourite building? Does architecture affect you? Do you notice it?
Very much, yeah. I was just saying, I really love the amazing swathe of modern architecture in London. It's really successful, I think.
What, the kind of the last 10 years?
Yeah, I love things like the Tate and the Gherkin. They're fantastic. And I was really, really incensed in my old man's way when they opened the Millennium Bridge, and it wobbled. And there was this insane campaign by the Standard. Keep the bridge wobbly. It was like, why do we always have to kind of embrace the third rate? It's like, it's not a joke. It's a beautiful design. They've made a mistake. So when they put the dampeners on and fixed it, I was really pleased. But I thought that's so typical of us. It's like, oh, we've got the wobbly bridge. Well, also, though, the Standard is terrified of London. Well, yeah. Which is very weird. Every headline is chaos. Yeah. Where? It's the Mail in them, I'm afraid. It is. My favourite, though, and it still seems to me very modern, is the Post Office Tower. Yeah, it's beautiful. Always Post Office to me. I won't have it called anything else. But it is. It's a beautiful. Have you been up the top? No, I tried to hire it for my recent 40th birthday, and I kind of got somewhere down there because I think they still use the restaurant. Oh, they do. It still goes round as well. But you have to kick it. It's a fantastic place, and it should still be open. No, but there's for any future books set in the 60s. What they said to us, one of the reasons that they can't turn it around now is all the phone lines are connected to the wall. So if it go round, all the phones would pop out. Well, that's an argument. Which is a great scene. Yes. You're like Smashing Time. Remember that one? What about a building that you dislike? What I'm going to let you do is very gently blow it up. If you can blow something up gently. I would probably choose. It's difficult because as you say, it's a wonderful mishmash of things, and even some of the ugly bits kind of work. I think I'd have to blow up Euston Station. Really? Because because of what went? Because of the Euston Arch, yes, and also just because it's just so flat. That great big sort of black bar in the middle, right next to that Edwardian fire station. Yeah, which is beautiful. I think it's just a mess, really. So I'd probably go for that. Do you know why? I would evacuate it first. Oh, that's very kind of you. I was told why Euston Station was built like that when they built it, and it was because they were very scared that air transport was taking over from train transport.
and so they wanted it to look as much like an airport.
Oh, well,
and that's why you can't see the trains and things. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in the past, you had that classic walk-in with those huge temples. They wanted it to look like an airport because they thought that was what they were competing with.
Insanity.
Silliness. But we will move on. At what point do you think did you become a Londoner? Because you do.
Day before yesterday.
I'm not having all this born within the sound of anything nonsense. It's a choice being a Londoner.
Yeah, I think so. I think, as I said, when I arrived, I was living in Muswell Hill originally for a bit, and then that whole sort of fear of it eating you up, although it remains, you just sort of you just get on with it, or you quit. I think. And that's obviously a lot of people do. Even if it takes them years, they might actually eventually go. But I sort of conquered it, I suppose. And I'm very proud to be here. It's a wonderful city.
What's the best view?
I think the best one, it's a recent discovery, it's only a few years ago, the Portrait Cafe in the National Portrait Gallery, which I adore. It's one of my favourite museums. The cafe view is incredible.
It's real rooftop, isn't it?
It's like the title sequence to a lost 70s cop show, or the logo of a lost TV company, but it's all kind of grey roofs, bits of landmarks, and that sort of pigeon excrement kind of flavour to it. But it's fantastic. Yeah,
because you're not too high up. You're not kind of looking down. You're kind of looking across.
And it's sort of letterboxy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got the big dome to the whatever it is that obscures half of it, and it really feels like you might have to go out there and clean something.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it. But it's fantastic, really fantastic.
How did you start? Did you start acting? What was the beginning?
Well, I was college. I met the rest of the league at college in Yorkshire, and then we were doing some plays in London, in Little Venice, in the Canal Cafe Theatre, and then eventually we started doing sketches, and we sort of put on a regular show, and then we took it to Edinburgh, and then got a radio show off that, and then won the Perrier, and it all kind of rolled from there. And I was always writing at the same time, but that was really how it took off. I mean, I've got lots of treasured but thankfully long ago memories of piling around North London in a Mini with all our costumes in an old suitcase. They're very romantic now. They weren't at the time. It was always freezing. And living in Finsbury Park, which I would never recommend to anyone.
Oh, poor Finsbury Park.
No, but what can you do? Maybe I'd blow Finsbury Park.
Maybe you can move it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's bottom of the sea.
There's probably some dastardly person who's... The next Bond film will be a secret plot to move Finsbury Park.
Everyone agrees.
Yeah, that's how you outwit the badges.
Yes.
Go on then.
Oh.
What's your favourite open space if it's not Finsbury Park?
Regent's Park, I think. It's got a sense of history about it, and it's just always a wonderful mishmash of things. And I love the zoo. I love the zoo.
Do you actually go there?
Yeah.
Have you got kids?
No.
Right, okay.
But I have animals. No, I love it, and I don't go obviously all the time, but
no, you'd be very strange if you did.
I love the sort of exoticism of it, and the fact you can see like the Snowdon thing just through the trees and things like that, and it's a sort of slightly magic feel to it. Same when you go on Hampstead Heath, you can see the city through trees. It's got a kind of Dave the Triffids feel, as if somehow it's become overgrown, you know. And I think the park's like that. I love the way it's all dotted with different bits and pieces.
It's certainly that bit about the zoo, because you'll forget, or I forget. I mean, I've lived near Regent's Park for most of my adult life, and you'll be cycling through it, which you're not supposed to do, or something, and suddenly you look across and there's an emu. And you just, of course we're by the zoo.
Or you just hear some kind of... It's great. Yeah.
No, I love all of that. I agree. What about, are you a shopper? You're very dapper. So.
Thank you very much. This is my Doctor Who costume. I bought it off them.
Really?
Yes.
Did the BBC make you pay for them?
Yeah, but they gave me a good rate.